This movie is the shit. Let's talk about Alligator. Arguably the best Jaws ripoff, Alligator's an early 80s independent classic. The film follows Totally Not Brody, what they want us to believe is Chicago, trying to save his town from an overgrown sewer alligator. We get plenty of awesome kills, musical stings, and, well, a giant effing alligator. The whole film was inspired by a comic book ad where kids would buy baby alligator in the fear that parents would flush the pet down the toilet and an overgrown lizard would terrorize the sewers, which is basically what happened, just minus the comic books. Directed by Louis T., who got his start as production manager on the Woodstock doc from 1970, he would later direct classics such as Cujo and Cat's Eye and that god-awful Justice League pilot from 97. They can't all be winners. We open with a little girl at an alligator tourist trap. After some dude gets mauled, she buys a pet baby alligator. She brings it home, names it Raymond, but her dad's not having it, and flushes the lizard straight down the shitter. The radio lets us know it's 1968 thanks to Democratic convention riots. I wonder if Robert Forster's there. Speaking of Forster, the late character actor is playing our present-day lead, David, a homicidal unit detective who I actually won't call Detective Douchebag, considering he's a highlight of the film. He is also called to a sewer filtration department, and the sludge tanks they find some dude's arm floating in.
We got a big toe in the morgue once. Nothing else, just a big toe. Yeah? Never found the rest of them. But we figured out who it was. Had a funeral and everything.
We also find some shoot-up dogs, and not soon after, meet a suspicious pet shop owner, Gutchell, played by Sidney Lassick, or Cheswick from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, also the sheriff in Silent Madness and the Cat Snatcher in the Tom and Jerry movie. Funny enough, here we soon find him stealing dogs on the side of the road and bringing them to some laboratory where they use these animals to undergo totally legal hormonal experiments. The organization owned by Old Man Slade, portrayed by Dean Jagger, whose filmography goes all the way back to the silent era and even starred in Evil Town, which I should review one of these days, and was Dr. Lane in Game of Death. Slade is, of course, buddy-buddy with the mayor, who's also played by character actor Jack Carter from Batman 66, Lois and Clark, fucking Trogs, and The History of the World Part 1. Funny enough, Gutchell was in Part 2. We also get an Edward Norton name drop, not the Hulk, just the nod, the Honeymooners.
Tell me you're a friend of Edward Norton's.
Gutchell disposes of the corpses in the sewer, where it seems the camera is a bit hungry. Gutchell's body parts make their way into the sanitation department, so Forster decides to grab a partner and get into the sewer. No one wants to partner up with him because his last partner died 5 years ago, I guess, but Kelly's all in. Who you guessed it is a character actor, Perry Lang, from Monsters, Jacob's Ladder, Tales of the Dark Side, The Hearse, and a dozen classic TV shows. Perry also went on to become a TV director. Well, don't worry, it doesn't take long for them to find the alligator, and Kelly is his next snack. We do get a chance to set up the tunnels here a little, and introduce some pockets of methane gas, and when you introduce some explosive shit in the first act, expect to see it used in the third. We get an amazing shot of the two of them talking as the audience kind of cringes. We see Raymond creeping up behind them. They run away to some pimp music, but we already said Kelly goes out like a man. From here, shit starts getting serious. A reporter is on David's tail, and he tries to tell the sheriff it's an alligator, not a serial killer. And oh yeah, another character actor here. Sheriff is played by Michael Gaza from Godfather 2, Last Action Hero, and every cop show. The reporter gets himself killed, leaving behind a camera with a bunch of shots of the alligator as he eats them apart. We're introduced to one last actress, Robin Riker, who's a known TV actress from everything from MASH to A-Team to NCIS. She's playing Kendall, the little girl from the beginning, all grown up, now a reptile specialist. David leads a massive team of SWAT and police to sweep the sewer, so convincing the real police were called that is set by locals. They come up empty, but Raymond is on the loose, busting onto the streets in a totally not Massachusetts. He gets right to it, watching this idiot cop crash and basically crawl into his mouth.
You're an idiot.
We finally get a scope of how big Raymond is. This film says he's 30 to 40 feet long, but Raymond they built is actually 25. Still massive, though.
No, a refrigerator. Of course a car. Wait a minute. You're saying it's as big as a car? Of course you gotta have the tail.
Speaking of the Raymond animatronics, after the film finished, they donated Raymond to the Florida Gators, and he even made a few pre-game appearances. The town takes on the Gator by storm, getting out there with their merch. But David is taking this seriously, too seriously, after he starts pointing fingers at Slade's company for dumping the animals in the sewer and the hormones from the corpses being what made Raymond grow so big. The sheriff lets him go, of course. Some big game hunter takes over the hunt, who, guess what, is played by the voice of Bane from the Batman and the Superman animated series. Henry Silva was also in Silence of the Lambs, Buck Rogers, Sharky's Machine, and Escape from the Bronx. That's not even his foreign cult films. He's not in it for too long though, because he ends up getting swallowed by the alligator. Hell, Ramon takes on some police boat too, blowing one up as an alligator does, and chewing off this one dude's leg. Meanwhile, Kendall and Forrester bang, I guess?
Look, I'm fighting male pattern baldness. I'm a little sensitive on the subject. I hope you don't mention it again.
I feel like that was the wrong clip. The two realize Raymond is heading upstream to the Slade mansion, so Forrester takes a timer and some dynamite he stole from the evidence room and tries to intercept it. Meanwhile, the mansion is holding a wedding party for Slade's daughter. Raymond pulls up, but he didn't RSVP, so everything goes to shit. There's not enough meatballs for everybody, and Slade locks the mayor out of the car, so Jack Carter meets his end at the jaws of a fucking alligator. Dean Jagger isn't much safer inside there since the gators are all fueled by vengeance, and he crushed him to death with his tail inside the car. Raymond goes on to bitch slap some people and take some hors d'oeuvres back to the sewer. It's climax time, so Forrester goes down there setting up some dynamite on the 2-minute timer inside the methane pocket. Kendall stays above, but some old lady parks over the manhole cover. Trapped down there with Raymond, it's almost eating time, but Kendall gets the old lady to move just in time. In Tom Atkins fashion, it's Miller time, and Raymond explodes, ending the film, apparently killing the shit out of this old lady, I guess. We get a little sequel cliffhanger with a new baby Croc that was sort of done, even though there's no returning characters or cast members. But Alligator is awesome. It's got a great cast who all work together well, but each have their own individual moments to shine. The music is solid and keeps the film going at times. It's well paced and chock full of kills. The cinematography is very Jaws-based, but still good in its own right, and is probably my favorite Jaws knockoff, up there over Tentacles, Devouring Waves, The Last Shark, Blood Beach, and Grizzly, which I reviewed last year. The film has an interesting history, originally being set in Milwaukee with an alligator growing to its size because of a local brewery's beer. James Horner, musician on Avatar and Titanic, also made a score for the film that sadly went unused due to a strike at the time. Screenwriter of the film, John Sayles, around the same time as this movie, was writing a draft for Spielberg's never-made Night Skies. So in '82, when E.T. would come out, Spielberg put a little throwaway line about alligators in the sewers, a little nod to Sayles.
Alligators in the sewers?
Alligators in the sewers.
There's some background Easter eggs in Alligator too. The alligator's name can be seen in Forster's apartment because Forster was friends with Raymond Santiago and hung his poster in the set. Graffiti on the wall of the sewer can be seen at the end of the movie as a nod to Orson Welles' The Third Man, with graffiti earlier just reading Croc and Chuck. Musical cues in the film also borrow from an amazing Twilight Zone episode, The Invaders. And Bryan Cranston was even on set as the special effects production assistant in charge of Roman's guts for the finale. On top of this, Ideal Games made an awesome game for the movie, which just had this badass box art and this awesome, giant alligator, which I have behind me. I picked up at ZellaCon earlier this year. Check out my haul for that next. My only question is, how the hell does Kendall never think, hey, I wonder if Raymond is the gator my dad flushed down the sewer all those years ago? But it's a great film with alligator tail whips, character actors turned into snacks, one shot of some side boob, one kick-ass malfunctioning alligator suit, an original location to shoot the film being in the sewer a lot. Oh yeah, and some cruel kids feeding another kid to an effing alligator. So yeah, that happened.
You're the country's leading herpetologist. You have a wonderful mind, doctorate degree, and beautiful tits.
Damn it! He's not hiding in the bushes!